Hi, I'm Golem.
And I'm Goblin.
Frogbat.
Slime.
And we're here to answer your questions. Our first question is from Culig Gaming. Do you consider editing a hassle, or is it fun for you?
To you.
Whatever. I kind of think it's a little bit of both. Like, it gets in the way of getting it out to you guys, but I enjoy the creative process and picking out moments to capture.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think editing is actually I think it's my favorite part.
That's fucked up.
Recording is cool, but editing and like being able to mess with everything, I think that's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Huh. Interesting.
The whole process.
I have no creative process. I just cut out all the good parts, and then when it's like halfway butchered, I upload it. Except usually I just don't upload it.
Yeah, I was gonna say playing the games is my favorite part, and that's why I have a bunch of footage that is untouched.
Yeah, playing the game is my favorite, but I do enjoy making creative decisions. So, Culig Gaming's next question.
Yeah, he also asks, what do you guys consider the best game played on your channel?
So, that's kind of a weird question for me to figure out how to answer, because best made, I would say BioShock, but best as in the most fun would be Skyrim.
Yeah, that is super tough, but I definitely, like, Skyrim, I've played the most in my personal time, and I think the roulettes are super fun to record, so I'm gonna go with Skyrim on that one.
My favorite game that is uploaded to the channel so far is Left 4 Dead 2. I had a lot of fun playing that with IRL, and hopefully we can do that again soon.
I think we will at some
Let's
point.
do it. Let's kill some zombies.
Yeah, come on, IRL.
I don't know. I liked Skyrim the most. Skyrim.
Skyrim.
Instant Replay Live asked us.
Well, first he says...
Fine. You do the.
First he says that he thinks that we deserve more subs. And we want to say thank you, Nick. That's so sweet.
That is really nice of him. But actually, he asked questions directed at Frogbat and Slime to start with, which was, are there backstories for your names? Or did you just pick whatever? And if you just pick whatever, make something up.
Okay. Well, I didn't pick whatever. I actually had a really hard time trying to pick out a name. I have a lot of different fantasy monsters that I like a lot. I also say monster is funny, so I'll say that a couple more times, I guess. So I had this huge long list, and I was trying to like go through and pick out like my favorite ones, but some of them were really hard to pronounce or kind of long, like Chimera or Manticore, or like, you know, potentially copyrighted, like owlbear. Owlbears are great. So I just got super frustrated, and I was like, I'm just gonna like smash something together, and I was like, Frogbat. And that kind of stuck.
And the legend was born.
That's what it is. Frogbat.
I'm sorry.
I like slimes.
All right. Instant Replay Live asks, what has been the best part of YouTubing? And for me, it's kind of been the surprising amount of unexpected friendships that have kind of spun out of doing this and interacting with people and being a part of a community. I don't usually do that. I'm kind of a hermit. I don't like people usually.
That's true.
So
That's true.
To find a venue for me to interact with people and have it be a positive thing, that's kind of special. Also,
Yeah.
I like making stuff with my friends. That's the other big component to this.
Yeah, making stuff with friends is cool. Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely the community. It's we've talked before. It's kind of reminds me of like being in a band where you like start a band because you want to make music that's fun for you, and then you start making it sort of for your friends, and then as more people want to pay attention to it, it just kind of gets better and better and better as you go. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. IRL also asks, what keeps you going in dark times?
That's a heavy question. But yeah, in those dark times, I tend to, if it's like real life dark times, I can't. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's like fucking with us or.
Yeah. Anyway, if he's not,
with us,
I will sit down with a piece of paper and write down all of this shit that's going on in my head, and that turns it into something that is quantified. It's no longer just a ball of weird thoughts and amalgam of feelings. it makes the problems that I'm dealing with a lot smaller and tangible, so I can deal with them one at a time. And also I have the support of Frogbat and Slime, and of course Goblin.
Yep, totally. Definitely family and friends, like all of my friends here. But it also helps to remind myself how simple everything actually is, and that all the boogeyman behind like stress and fear and shit they're just bullshit. They don't actually exist. So nothing really matters, which to me is nice.
All right, a question from Ziopliukas. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. We got, I think, somewhere around
Ziopliukas.
10 questions?
Ziopliukas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziopliukas asks a lot of questions.
So, why did you start YouTube is the first one.
Yeah, Golem and I spent a lot of time together at work on breaks watching YouTube videos one summer, and we decided it'd be fun to record ourselves commenting on games the way we talk when we just kind of hang out with each other. So we're both artists and gamers, and it all just kind of made sense, and so we just started doing it.
Yeah, it was also just a good excuse for me to actually work on a project with Goblin, because we talked about doing that forever and just didn't.
Yeah, pretty
So-
much.
What was your favorite class in middle school?
So this question, I'll answer this. It would be art class, but I didn't really like the teacher that much. So I actually really enjoyed home economics, whatever it was called. It was called like life skills or something. But I learned a lot of practical life skills, including like sewing and knowing when to spot when advertisements are bullshit and just
Really?
Yeah, for real. It was all like, put in the VHS tape, watch the ad. What did you get from the ad? Well, this is the reality of that ad and how it was made. Like
What?
they like showed how they used like glue to make it look like really like thick milk on cereal.
That's
And, like,
awesome.
Like food photography
I did
stuff.
not have that class.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
So I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
I was just gonna say art class because I drew a ton of velociraptors and rocket ships and X-wings and stuff.
Yeah. That,
I didn't have like media class or whatever the hell that was. Like subliminal message class.
I did not like middle school.
yeah, fuck middle school.
Yeah,
My
we all
least
agree with
favorite
that.
class in middle school was yearbook, which I almost failed.
That's
I
a
might have
class?
actually failed it, yeah.
Yearbook?
Yeah. It was when I was living in Virginia.
Oh my god.
Virginia.
Just very different from home.
Don't we know some dudes who like live in
Yeah.
Virginia?
Yeah, a couple dorks.
Yearbook middle schools.
The next question is, what's your favorite food?
That's an awesome question.
Yeah.
That's like the question.
Yeah, mine is definitely pizza. Also, American Chinese food and whiskey, if you count that as a food.
Yeah, I'm gonna say anything pulled out of the Atlantic Ocean, I will eat it, and I'm gonna second the whiskey.
Peach rings!
What's a peach ring?
It's candy!
I've never had a peach ring.
I like peaches. And I like candy. And they're both.
Yeah. Cool. I'll have to try peach rings.
Yeah, you like candy, so.
I love candy. Are they?
I
I
fucking
love,
hate candy.
dude. Oh my god, like M&Ms, gummy, anything,
Me everything.
gummy, everything.
Yeah, it's not food.
Well,
I mean,
like,
neither's whiskey, but...
I guess technically.
The next one is favorite movie or TV show. I guess mine would be, if I want to be deep, Cosmos, A Space-Time Odyssey. If I don't want to be deep, Adventure Time. Although that's still sort of
Adventure
deep.
Time's pretty damn deep.
Not like Cosmos, though.
I would argue that.
Okay. And my favorite movie, I think, is Back to the Future. But that shifts from, like, where I'm at in my head. Because I like a lot of different movies. A lot.
Yeah. I don't think any of that stuff like stays the same for
No.
most people. My favorite movie is definitely Waking Life. Just a Richard Linklater movie about the nature of dreams, which is kind of deep. It's actually a pretty deep movie. It's cool though. And for TV, I have to stay solid on the X-Files, which there's like a Netflix or maybe it's Hulu series coming out soon. It's like a 6-part event. Super excited. If anybody cares. X-Files. The truth is out there.
Watch out for it.
I don't want to believe.
On Netflix.
I actually don't watch a lot of movies or cartoons or anything like that. I mean, if I am going to watch something, I'm going to watch shows or cartoons, but generally only if somebody else is going to watch it with me. So I'm going to second Adventure Time, Slime and Golem. Slime and Golem got me Adventure Time seasons 4 and 5 for Christmas. So we've been steadily making our way through that.
Yes, it's been awesome.
My favorite movie that I've seen recently is Crimson Peak, and my favorite show is probably Steven Universe. No spoilers, please.
Yeah, don't spoil any of this shit for us.
Jerks.
Especially Back to the Future.
Oh, number 5, favorite book.
My favorite book is Lies of Loch Lamora.
It's my favorite book. He stole it.
I stole it.
You can have the same favorite book.
I don't think that's allowed.
I've got a ton of favorite books, so a runner-up in this case is going to be the Aporson series, which starts with Sabriel by Garth Nix.
I'm going with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. It's like my favorite. I've read that book like 1,000 times. I used to sit like under a tree when I was in like middle school and read it like over and over and over and over again.
Were you waiting for the rabbit to show up?
I think so. Yeah, at certain points.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I read a lot of comics, so my favorite books are mostly comics. I like I Kill Giants, and Sweet Tooth was what I was reading when I first moved here, so it's kind of nostalgic for me. And Skim. I guess those are my top 3.
Right on.
Sweet. Yeah, comics.
Our top 3 favorite video games. Or games. It just says games, so maybe just games, but...
Oh, yeah.
I went with-
Dominion.
I'm not a big board game person, so...
Catan.
My 3 favorite games, my top choices are Morrowind, Max Payne 3, and Super Mario 3, the Super Mario All-Stars version.
Yeah, I put Mario 3 on, and then I figured you might take Mario 3.
We can't have the same favorite things. So.
And you can't,
You can't have the same... We went over this with the
Frogbat's
books.
established, yeah. So I'm going with Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm going to cheat and pick the Fallout franchise.
Yeah.
And if cheating's not allowed, I'm going to go with Fallout 2, just for nostalgic reasons.
Alright, my 3 favorite video games today that I can think of right now. I'm sure there are other ones that I'll be like, ah, damn, why did I say that? Pikmin, Heroes of Might and Magic, and Dragon Warrior Monsters.
Definitely Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I was gonna say Ni no Kuni, but that game actually disappointed me a little, so I switched it out for Golden Sun. Probably the second one. And a Fire Emblem game, but I'm not sure which one.
There's a lot of them, aren't there?
Yeah,
Oh, those silly gooses.
I'm going
Geese?
to buy all
Silly
of
geese.
them.
That's a good plan.
Buying all the games.
Yeah, buy all of
Well,
them.
there's one coming out that it's like you can play this side, or you can buy both games, and then you can also get this third part as DLC, and I'm like,
This guy's gonna be rolling in money.
I give up on this.
Buy all the games.
Oh, this question. How
Yeah.
did we meet each other?
I sold them all sandwiches.
That's true.
That is how we met Slime.
Is that how everybody met Slime?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm the
'cause I was
sandwich bitch.
I was thinking about that before we started this. I'm like, where did I meet Slime? Oh yeah, sandwiches.
Sandwiches. I made the good sandwiches.
You did, yeah.
The best
you
sandwiches,
were
yeah.
known. You were known in the
Yes.
office as the best sandwich maker.
It's true.
I think that's a little extreme.
No,
No, it's
actually
for
is
real.
a legit thing, yeah.
I was always concerned. I was like, which one makes the bad sandwiches? It's not the cute girl, right?
I ran them out of business. That's why they had to move out. They spent too much on sandwich fillings.
Probably.
So I don't know how to do this. I met Frogbat my junior year of college after kind of like one of those beginning of the school year meet and greet things, like the little kumbaya by the fire moments. We were all in a big circle And you had
Icebreakers.
yeah,
I thought you were
icebreakers.
gonna have a correction.
No,
you're
you
wrong.
don't remember?
You did this other terrible thing.
No, it was, yes, an icebreaker. We were in a big circle. It was everybody in our part of the dormitory, and I introduced myself as, "Hi, I'm Golem,
It was love at
and
first.
I'm an
Golem.
asshole." I announced very loudly that I was an asshole to everyone, and that got a giggle. And then later, I was kind of shadowing around the RA who I was friends with, and then ditched him, went into her room and demanded food.
Yeah, my roommate was cooking eggplant parmesan. She was a vegetarian, which was actually very hard for me to adapt to because I kept trying to offer her meat like constantly. So
Holding up raw meat. Here you go.
I was like, "Hey, I cooked you a hamburger." Oh yeah, that
Hey,
thing.
I killed this mouse for you. Let me put it in your bed.
I'll put it in your shoes.
Don't let them know my secret that I'm actually a cat.
So yeah, I demanded food, and then we hung out. We talked about D&D, and then we became very, very, very close for many, many years.
Yeah, I think your successful pickup line was, "Want to come back to my dorm room and check out my Morrowind mods?"
Yes, that was
Oh my god.
what I said.
That's awesome.
And Goblin and I actually met in class. We had
Oh, that's right. We had a
art history together.
yeah, Northern Renaissance art history.
That was it.
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And you had carved in a plate of copper Darth Vader.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh, shit. This is not the origin story I had in my mind. I couldn't really remember. That's right. And then
What?
you made you did like a project on reliquaries, I think,
Yeah,
or something like
I
that.
made
You
a
made like a
reliquary.
thing from your D&D world, and I was
Yes.
like, this is fucking cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. And then you were sort of like watching like the work that my roommate was making,
Yes.
and we ended up talking in the hallways, and then you ended up working where I was working, and
Yeah, been buds since.
been buds since.
And then through that, everybody sort of all met each other.
yeah, I definitely think
And
I
then-
met Frogbat through you.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
And then we met Slime because of sandwiches.
Sandwiches. The
So,
best sandwiches.
The best sandwiches.
the moral of the story is that Gollum has the best memory and he
Pickup
will,
lines.
He will
Yeah.
one up you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gollum got me to have coffee with him, and then he was like, "Hey, is it okay if my girlfriend comes?"
Surprise!
Hi.
Oh, I'm red-faced.
Wow, we're still on this set of questions.
So, next question.
Number
from, Next question, number
Good
8.
job, Ziopliukas.
From Ziopliukas.
Whoa. If you could talk to any person for 30 minutes, who would it be?
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, this is one of them.
Uh,
I picked Chris Perkins because I think it would be cool to sit with him and just shoot the shit about D&D. Plus, he has a really awesome last name.
yeah, you picked that, and I would have too, but we can't have the same thing. So, I picked Peter Molyneux, who is a person who knows success and failure deeply, and I
Yeah.
would love to talk his ear off about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a man of visions, but odd, if not problematic, execution of those ideas. And I'm curious about what his process is so I can learn from it. So yeah, I would totally talk to him right now for 30 minutes.
So come on over.
So, Peter Molyneux, get your ass over here.
I picked Mark Cowardine. He's a personal hero of mine.
Why?
Who is that?
You have to Google him.
All right.
Let's spell his name then.
Cawardine. I think I spelled it right, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that.
We'll find out.
Did
I
you
guess.
Google it first?
Huh? No, I didn't. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've got a book on the bookshelf.
All right.
Eh, it'll take too long.
Question number 9.
Question number 9.
Where would you want to travel the most?
Yep. I would want to go to Scotland. I've been to Ireland a couple times, but I really want to check out Scotland, and I would really love to see Norway. So I have some family from Norway, and seems cool. Vikings,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I think where I'd like to travel to most would be 1980 in the U.S.
This irritates me so much. The question specifically says where.
Shit.
Does
right.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where in 1980 would you like to go?
I did say the U.S.
U.S.
Oh, okay.
It's
There
not
you
a
go.
geographical location. It's just a very specific time-based geographical location.
Right, yes.
I really want to go to New Zealand someday. I like all the birds they have there. They have lots of good birds.
They have all the good birds.
They do. They
The
have
birds
all
here
the
are
good
shit.
birds. And then after I check out all the good birds, I will go to Australia and see all of the good marsupials.
Okay.
All of them are stupid.
All of them.
And then after you go to Australia, we can hop from there to Japan, because that is a thing that you can do.
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Never go home. Never
Yeah.
go home.
That's where I want to go, because I've been learning Japanese since my freshman year of high school, and it has very limited practicality.
Here, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Question.
there's not much point.
So, question 10. Why
God.
Golem? Why Golem and Goblin and not Gong and Dong?
There's so many answers to this
Winky
question.
Because that would be obscene.
Why not Gong and Dong?
Yeah, that would be obscene.
I guess, well, Golem and Goblin, when we were first talking about the channel, I've been Ivory Goblin on, like, every gaming thing I have for years and years and years, so I figured, like, Goblin would be cool. Plus, we were talking about doing some, like, D&D type stuff, so I was like, that's cool. Just
Yeah.
pick something that's sort of fantasy-esque and...
Yeah, and you had been using Goblin for a while, and then I had to figure out a name, and it just sort of kicked around a few, and Golem fit, and it just sounded nice, and it was something I could it's something I've kind of grown into, on top of my personality kind of fits it pretty well.
Yeah. I think it is, I don't know, it's pretty funny that like, the Goblin's so diminutive.
Yes.
Like, in
And-
reality, I'm like 6'6". It
Yeah.
just feels. It always has felt kind of weird.
So, question back to you, Ziopliukas. How do you say your name, and why did you pick that name?
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
Answer it in the
Yeah,
comments,
Frogbat. We
can ask
because
them
I need to
questions.
know.
That's right.
So, we're coming up on the last question from Digital Basement. Golem, tell them your best DM story.
Buckle up.
All right, so this one is kind of a tough one, but there is a story that I tell a lot. And it's not necessarily my best DM story, but it is just, I tell it all of the time, and now I'm just going to record telling it.
Oh, is it
The story...
that one?
Yes.
It's the one.
The story of Jader Ponge. Warning, things are going to get very, very weird. So, my roommate in college hadn't played D&D, and at the time I thought this was a crime, and I needed to introduce him to D&D. So I had him roll up a character, and I showed him all the classes and everything, and then he's like, oh, Bard, I want to play a Bard. I was like, cool, yeah, sure. And he names his character. He names his character Jader Ponge. Like, okay, give me a little bit of time. I can think about an adventure that might be fun for you. I spend a little bit of time. I make the game for him. He's at the table getting ready to play. And I go, all right, you start off waking up in the bed of a beautiful woman. He's a little flustered and flummoxed. And I was expecting, yeah, this is going to be great. Okay, you're gonna have a fun beginning of your game. So I have him wake up in bed. He's kind of flirting with the girl. A noise is heard from downstairs, and the woman in bed, bed's like, "Oh no, my husband's home." So I'm expecting him "Oh crap, I have to get my stuff and get out of here." So he instead waits in the room. The woman's like, "You have to get out of here. He's going to flip out if he sees you here." He just says defiantly, "No, I'm going to stay right here." He reaches down, plucks out his crossbow from his gear that's on the bed next to the bedside. It's like, okay. And sure enough, the husband comes to the bedroom after a short while, is absolutely mortified about this strange naked man, and his wife is panicking and freaking out in the room. And then I ask the guys playing Jader Ponge, what do you do? You have this moment. He's in here. He found you with his wife. And he says, I'm going to shoot him. Holy shit. Okay, roll attack. So he rolls, and he rolls pretty well. Rolls high damage. Fucking kills the husband outright. The wife starts screaming. Then he goes, I'm going to shoot her too. He reloads his crossbow and shoots her. So she's dead. So he takes his time, gets dressed, and then I go, okay, what are you planning on doing now? You've just murdered 2 people. What are you going to do? And then he looks at me and asks me, are there any children in the house? And I am like, okay. So I clandestinely rolled percentile to see if there is, and there is. He goes, I tell him, yeah, there's a child in the house. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go find this kid. It's like, okay, he's just in the other room, sleeping. He's like, okay, I'm gonna wake up the kid. So I'm like, oh my god, okay. He is a strange man who's like barely dressed and shakes this kid awake. The kid flips out. So then he says, I'm gonna knock him out. You're gonna knock out this little kid. Yeah, I'm gonna knock out the little kid. Okay. Rolls. Fucking nat 20. Just fucking nearly kills the kid. Completely unconscious. I'm like, okay, you've just knocked the kid unconscious. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna leave the house? Are you gonna just like get the fuck out of here? Or are you, what's your plan? He's like, is there a tub? It's like, yes, there's a tub in the house. There's a large clawfoot tub, and you have to boil water to draw a bath. And he says, okay, I'm gonna fill some buckets and get a fire going and boil some water. And I'm gonna bathe the kid. I was like, okay. So he strips down the kid, washes him in a bathtub. This unconscious children with his dead parents in the other room, just bathes the child. I'm like, oh my god, I'm just thinking to myself, like, what are you doing? Why is this happening? So he finishes bathing the kid and just pulls him out of the tub, places his body, his sleeping body, in between the dead bodies of his parents, and leaves him there. Hold a moment. And leaves them there. And then says, you know what? I'm gonna go have a drink. It's like, okay. So he leaves the house, goes down the street, and goes to the tavern to order a drink. So he goes up to the bar, and there's a bunch of gruff motherfuckers in this bar, especially a really grumpy-looking dwarf. So he orders a drink, and then he looks around, and he's like, who's the like meanest-looking guy in here? I was like, there's this dwarf. He looks furious. He's definitely a rough dude you do not want to cross. He goes, okay. I approach the dwarf. Okay. And he says to the dwarf, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? And Jader throws a coin in the air, and when the dwarf looks at the coin, he just fucking slashes him in the face with his dagger, drawing a P on his face. The dwarf flips the fuck out and is about to beat his ass. The barkeep screams for the guard, or the city watch, to show up. Sure enough, shortly after, you start hearing the whistles of the city watch blaring, and he fucking is booking it down the street away from the bar. He then runs down an alley and then climbs into a second-story window, waking up an old man who just starts freaking out about a weird guy in his house. He thinks for a moment about killing him, then decides, no, not today, and then carries through the house, leaves through the front door, and immediately is palm struck in the face by a guard smashing his nose, and then he's bludgeoned down and goes unconscious. He wakes up in a jail cell. What a fucking surprise. And across from him is a screeching little creature, a kobold, just making all sorts of racket, terrible noises. So Jader, whatever, we'll just call him Jader, looks around his cell and then shouts for the guard, demanding to be let out of his cell. That did not work. He then looks around his cell and sees that there's a 1 foot wide hole at the top of his 10 foot tall cell. And he decides he's going to climb up to it. He rolls. It's stupid. And also his shoulders won't fit. He gives up on that. Then he remembers that he's a bard. And for the first time, he uses any of his bardic abilities. So he gets the attention of the guard by using a Fascinate spell and just sort of singing a nice little tune. So the guard takes notice and looks at him and seems to be enjoying the music. The guard approaches a little bit. And at this point, Jader, well, the player, well, I guess his character does actually say this. He says, "Come over here and I'll do something special for you." The guard says, "Okay," and approaches the cell and loosens up his codpiece. At which point, the player looks up at me and asks, "What's a codpiece?" I explained to him, like, a codpiece is, like, basically dick armor. It holds your junk in place and protects it. So he loosened it, meaning that he took, "Hey, come over here and I'll do something special for you," as innuendo. And then he's like, "Oh man, no, I didn't mean that." Then I'm like, "Well, you said this is what's happening." He walked over and he's presenting his stuff to you. Then he's like, okay. I'm gonna, like, reach down and start doing stuff with his junk. I was like, okay. So he reaches down, and he has a new plan now. He starts fondling the guard through the bars. While he's doing this, he's making a sleight of hand check to get the keys. And then he decides that he's going to muckle onto his junk, like crush his balls. He does that. The guard fails a fortitude save and is immediately stunned and starts, like, screaming and falls backward. He gets the keys. The kobold across from him starts clawing and biting and tearing at the guard that's on the ground. Jader also beats the guard through his bars of his cell before letting himself out. They beat the guard to death. Then he gets out of the cell and then lets the kobold loose, who is ecstatic. And he absolutely believes that this hero of the kobolds must come meet his chieftain for freeing him. So Jader takes the guard's weapons. Him and his new kobold buddy charge through the jail, killing the other guard in this tiny-ass town, and then escape. They flee the town, running off into the woods toward a cave. The kobold takes him back to his chieftain, heralds him as a savior. The chieftain seems amused by this. The kobold leader asks, "What do you want as a reward for this?" Well, more like, "What do you want as a reward for this?" And Jader says, "I would like one of your women." At which point, I fucking lost it, because I had to explain to him what a kobold is. Like, what they look like, and I will put a picture of one, the exact picture I showed him. Like, this is a kobold. They are little weird reptile people. They're kind of almost goblins. They look like this. He says, "Yeah, that's good enough." The chieftain shrugs and just heaves one of his many concubines at him. And then he proceeds to have sex with the kobold. To do that, that's horrible, disgusting, vile. So he just does the deed with a kobold. And then he says, "Can I do that again?" I'm like, oh my god. Roll a fortitude save. Sure enough, passes, does it again. Then the kobold leader invites him into his vision hut, and then they do copious amounts of drugs, and then Jader Ponge has a hallucinogenic journey with the kobold leader, and has an interesting series of visions about his future, none of which ever came true. And then Jader wakes up pantsless in the middle of the woods. That is only the first part of the tale of Jader Ponge. There is more. If you want to hear more, tell me. And I'll do a special Jader Ponge episode.
Oh my god.
That is it for our questions.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking any amount of time to check out our stuff. And we will see you again
soon.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. We'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.